Right? Yeah, thank you.
Yes, your voice is
So
clear.
let's proceed now. Okay, so since we are in a installation phase, okay, so basically I am not going to install any kind of other few services here. Either it is an analysis services and the integration services. I'm just go and deploy for the SQL database engine services at this moment, and uh, we can click this, client SDKs or whatever you required, you can able to, attach here. Okay, so that we can install it here. At this moment, I'm just going to do some database engine services. Okay, so I'm just proceeding with the next. Okay, so there we can able to see this further options to uh, here. So this is very important here. Okay, so the default instance and the named instance. Okay,
Sir,
so uh,
in feature rules, we have client tools service which you selected in feature selection. So, may I know for why do we use it?
so basically the client tools, in the sense, the servers we are not keeping in ideal, right? So the server is going to connect from the client systems as well. Okay, so let's say application it is going to connect. Sometimes the development team is going to connect. Every time we are not going to give this entire server access to the anybody else, right? So we just going to restrict them to their server end remotely. Okay, so the client tool is going to help to access this database engine services basically. Okay, so I just deployed and did. Okay, we have a team of around 15 to 20 members. Okay, in that we have 3 to 5 people as database guys. So typically, the best practice would be, instead of giving the host access, if you are ensuring that services, it will connect from the client services. Okay, either it is application services, and if we are data developer wants to connect the SQL application, so the service is going to ensuring that of easily to connect from the this application. So that is going to leverage
Okay.
to connect different systems or different applications. Okay, so yeah, any question?
Okay. No, no, sir.
Right. So let's proceed now. So default instance. Okay, so we have a default and named instance. Okay, at this moment we'll proceed for the no default instance. So what it will do, it is going to inherit the host name information. Whatever the host name is there, the SQL instance come with the host name. Let's say your VM currently. Okay, so what is the host name is available? Okay, it is demo VM04. Okay, so the instance name will come with this host name. If you go for the named instance, okay, if you go for the named instance, let's say you just SQL prod. Okay, so you it will come with this host name with this name. Okay, so the naming convention would be like it will come like this. Okay, notepad. Okay, so we have in a default instance, right? Okay, so we have uh, default one. So default when it will take the uh, existing, okay, so VM instance name. Okay, so it means the what is the name that we just deployed, demo VM04. So that it will take for the SQL application instance. If you take the named instance, okay, uh, the instance name. Okay, so if you are going to put that one, so how does naming convention it will come post installation? The host name slash your product name, provided name. Okay, so that is basically how it is going to reflect. Okay, so basically it will show what is the host name here, right? Okay, so what you provided? SQL PRD. So likewise, it is going to display. Okay, so this is all about the default instance in the name instance. Nothing to do. Okay, so most of the time, uh, um, so when it is going to help is basically within the single host, if you want to install the multiple SQL Server instances, Okay, you can use for the named instance. Only single default instance you can able to create. You can install multiple, instances into the single VM. Okay. I'm just next proceeding here. Okay, so what is the option it is going to show? Okay, so let's see. And now see here, the when you are trying to take the database engine services, we can have this agent and the SQL database. It is very basic and the minimal thing. Okay, so which we have some services and the service accounts over here. What are the services going to install and the account name currently which we are having, and we do have an option to drop down. We can change this one later on. Okay, so if you are going to inherit the Windows accounts. Okay, so we do have starting of the VM type of setup manual or automatic and disable. We'll see this one if you get any issue. Okay, so normally by default I'm using. If you want to change, you can change this automatic or not. Okay, so this is also you can able to make it as automatic. So when it is going to restart or shut down, post that if the service is going to automatically restart. So now this collection setting, it's a very important of checking of collision settings. Okay, normally SQL, Latin, Gender, CP1, and CIAS. This is a default collision setting, but it is going to play vital role when there is English is universal one, right? So you can use it. But some if you can go for the China and the Japan, most of the cases they are going to use for the local language. So that is the case. If you want to change this one, so we have this collation language, it is going to change. Okay, so collation language
So
it is going to change.
this is for language, sir. Just
Yes, yes.
okay.
So this is going to tell you the client. Okay, so I want this collision setting and all. Okay, once after this done, basically what it is going to do, you can able to change this collision setting in a database level now. Okay, so but when you are defaultly installing in the SQL instance application, whatever the collision setting is available, that is going to inherit the database as well. Okay,
So, sir,
if you
how
want.
can I know for Arabic which collision we have to select, or for any other Spanish or for any other language which collision I have to select? Because in this
Yeah.
Swedish UK.
Yeah. So we just need to ensuring that, okay, just go to find out the Google one. Okay, let's me cancel. Okay. Just navigate to the,
Okay, I'll copy and paste it on Google, and it will tell it is for
yes,
which
that's it. That, okay.
language.
Okay.
Okay.
So just simple is, just go and do some Google. Some client is asking you this, collision setting for the Arabic and all, right? So normally this Arabic and all, the Middle East countries, it is going to use. Okay. So SQL server collision setting for Arabic. See collision settings for the Arabic one. Okay, so if you can go and see this, French, Arabic collision settings. We do have Microsoft documents as well. Okay, so normally uh, sorry, normally we use for default collision settings, but that is not the case in a real time. See here, the collision setting is here. Okay, so this is where we can able to see this Arabic and CIAS. Okay, so likewise we have that options. We can use that collision settings information. Okay, so that is the case. We can able to find that collision setting information. We can able to change that one. Okay, you just do the some googling. That is straightforward. Okay, so I'm just taking at this moment default one. Okay, so we want to change them based upon the client requirement. We can able to change that one. Okay. And
Okay.
next option would be the server configuration. Okay, so we have it is very important here. So typically we have two authentication methodologies. Okay, so we have Windows, only Windows users can able to access if you are going to restrict. Okay, so there is a mixed mode with the SQL authentication, the Windows authentication, both the accounts it is going to work. Okay, so just specifying of the system administration as a service account. Okay, SA account we call it as SA. The password we just need to provide.
Sir, if I don't have a admin access of Windows Server, so I will be able to log in SQL Server.
Yes, that's what the option here. Okay, you don't have Windows account. Okay, that's what the mixed mode. Instead of connecting a Windows authentication method, we will go for the SQL authentication method. That's what we
Okay,
have.
means
Okay.
if a person is having a account on Windows Server, so that person can access SQL Server.
Yeah, that is by default. That is by default actually.
So that person doesn't need admin access of Windows Server to log in SQL Server.
No, admin access is, Windows Server admin access is not required. Okay, so he's a
Okay.
part of, just, user also you can able to create. We are going to restrict in the SQL level that user. So let's say the user is having, admin account. Okay, does not mean that, that user is having a SQL and the same level of credential. No, we can able to restrict that user. Okay, in a log. That's what, okay. If you have the only, if you want to access the Windows user, okay, you can able to access here. If you don't have the Windows user, okay, you can try to connect a SQL authentication as well. Okay, but your question, whether that user is, part of the Windows and okay, he can able to access, is not part of the, Windows level, also can able to access by using of this mixed method. Got it? Udit?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So what I'm going to add here, if you can go and add here, what it will show basically the existing users, whoever the users is available in the Windows level, it will show you can able to add that one. So currently SQL admin, when we are deploying this VM, SQL admin is the one user, right? So that's what it is by default added. So now SA system administrator is a one of the account. By using of this password, you can able to access. The other approach would be the Windows user also can able to access. Both the user, you have two logins now. One login for the SQL admin login and other login is the SA login. Both we have. So post installation, we can add multiple Windows logins and multiple SQL logins, SQL authentication logins as well. Okay, let's see that part. Okay, later on, once everything is done, we'll do some experiment on this one. Are you clear at this moment to this one?
Yes, sir.
Now, data directories. So by default, it will follow this, SQL Server data and SQL Server, a log and a backup. So this is default. But part of the best practice, we are not going to use this, C drive. If you are going to use the C drive, all the data is going to residing in the C drive. The system it is going to hang. It is going to impact of performance as well, right? So that is the case. So default binders, you can keep it is in C drive, but the best practice standpoint of for the data and a log database. Okay, so user database log, user database data. Okay, and a backup directory. So we are going to maintain a different drives. Okay, at this moment we have only the one drive. Okay, so only one drive we just added. That also it is not showing. Okay, so let's see that uh, disk management .mgsc. Okay, let's see that. Okay,
I
the
think from
drive,
server manager, sir,
yeah, it is not
from server
reflecting, no.
manager.
Go ahead, you are saying something. Go ahead, buddy.
No, no, I was just saying we can. I think from server manager we can make it online, that disk.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay, I got it. Okay, so we can make here also. Okay, so we have now this healthy. Okay, so here is my disk, right? So server manager, or else here also you can able to do that one. Okay, so I'm just coming to that part as well. Okay, so at this moment, it isn't healthy. Now it is visible 32 GB. So now my uh, drive is available. So normally in enterprise level, okay, so for the data, one drive. Okay, so the log is one drive, and the temp.db is one drive. Backup is one drive. Likewise, we are going to use. Okay, so at this moment, I don't have any multiple drives, and a single drive. I'm just making this, um, uh, drive folders path actually. So in the enterprise level, but this is not the case. To we are going to do some. Um,
Okay, so in production we have a different drive for log and MDF, LDF, and for backup.
yes, exactly.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So I'm just going to change that one. Okay, so if you can take this path and go to this data drive. Okay, so I assume this is user data, right? So I can make this. Uh, okay, and you can take this log. Okay, and also the backup. Okay, so if you take the backup directly, it will go for the backup drive. If you are going to deploy any database, it is the log drive is one folder, database is one folder. Okay, so but the case is basically the tempdb, it is going by default C drive path, and you can able to ensure in the configuration MAC drop on the CPU related, and the memory that if you want, make it a default, it is there, but the recommendation would be that it is going to give the recommendation here. Okay, so let's keep the default at this moment, and the file stream option we have. Okay, if you want to enable this file stream option to performance related stuff to avoid. Okay, just let make
Sir,
this, but yeah,
I
go ahead
don't know
as
max POP.
yeah. So this max drop is basically when you are going to configuring this, instance. Okay, so the queries is going to, parallelly it is going to executing, right? So let's say you have, four CPU cores, right? So for that four CPU cores, we are going to accommodate one one thread, it is going to, parallel it is going to execute. Okay, so if you are going to limit this, max prop settings to, okay, so only it is going to utilize the two CPU cores, the rest of the two CPU cores, it is an ideal. Okay, so we can use for the other thread to
Okay,
run.
for
Okay,
SQL
no
Server,
problem.
it will means it will block two CPU cores for
Yeah,
SQL
yeah,
Server.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Okay, so basically when you are, facing some performance related stuff, this max drop related playing, very vital role here. Okay, so if you can see this, run a single statement. Okay, so parallel it is going to execute this, uh, max drop for two CPU cores. Currently two CPU cores we have, it is going to execute parallelly. Okay, so if you are making a four, it will go and, take, four parallel execution. Okay, if you are running in a four parallel runs in the statements in a single instance or in a single statement. Okay, so that's what it is going to play vital role here. Okay, so now we just fulfilled all this, all the data directories and macro and memory and all. Okay, so let's proceed the next option over here. Okay, so now it is got everything. So we just need to save this configuration file somewhere. Okay, so the path is basically configuration.ini file. Yep, please go ahead, Udit.
Sir, one more thing I forgot to ask you. There was
Mhm,
a parallel file stream.
mhm.
So what is that?
Yeah. So this file stream is basically if you want to uh, play some, files. Let's say you are doing some sort of PDF files and uh, any documents files if you want to residing. Okay, so for this particular drive, you just enable that feature is basically okay. So and that is a one thing. The other thing is if you want to make um, uh, a file group concept. Let's say the file group concept will come once after the installation, it will come data files and log files. Okay, that files you can able to split into the multiple groups actually. Okay, so file group concept is different. Once after the installation will letting know, but it is going to help to dividing of the file groups. One file group maintain in a one drive. Okay, so likewise we can able to ensuring the performance as well for that particular file group option. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Now this is the entire configuration information where we can able to see here. Okay, so basically this .ini file, when you are going to installation corruption or something went wrong, we can able to see this, what is the service account we configured, where the data files is located, where the replication, what are the instance name, what is the instance, and everything we can able to see that here. Okay, now just go and click on install. It is installation is going to process. Okay, as of now we just install the SQL application. So to connect the SQL application, we just required some mediator, right? So to validate and to create the data and the so let it install. Okay, so meantime what we are going to do at this moment, we just have the SQL application. So we do have required management tool as well. Okay, SQL management tool as well, that we can able to download and install,
Sir,
or else
will it
yeah.
not get installed automatically?
At this moment, earlier it will install, but now we just need to do manually. But the thing is that once after the installation is done, it is going to give some pop-up to proceed for the installation of the management studio.
Okay.
Okay, you have to
Because
do
few
manual.
years ago, I was trying to install 2012. That time, that management studio got installed automatically.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. 2017 onwards, you would have to install this management studio individually. Okay. See,
Okay.
we are doing installation SQL, right? Okay. Let's think about it. Developer team not required this entire SQL application, right? Only for the management studio required for them. You got it or not?
Hmm.
So that is the
Yes.
case. They will install the only management studio. So it will take some space and resource consumption and all. So to avoid that one, Microsoft is isolated the SQL engine, SQL database engine, and SQL management studio. So nowadays, not only for the SQL management studio we have the new feature is data studio as well. It is also same kind of approach and navigation as same as the SQL management studio. So let it install. Let's see the pop-up is going to coming or not. Okay, so we'll see. If not, okay, we can able to manually install that management studio. So installing of the management studio. So it is going to help. Yeah, mostly it is completed. Hard it will take 1 or 2 minutes. So what we are doing actually the use case. Now we are paying to the cloud vendor only for the VM related, not for the SQL, right? SQL is with you. This SQL is provided by your application owner. So just make sure that before going to do any task, you would have to ask, hey, application team or application owner, do you have the SQL software with you? So that we no need to go for, see, comparing to the single VM, it will charge only $5 to $10. If you go for the SQL with Windows OS, you have to pay $1,000. Okay, so that you would have to keep in your mind when you are doing some such a task or new deployment installation process. Hopefully it is completed. Okay, let's see. The pop-up will coming and we can install. Okay, so this is what this services got successfully installed. Now just please wait. It is saying mostly it will ask to install the let me close this one. Yeah, just validate this one. At this moment we have SQL Server database engine and the SQL Server configuration. There is no my charging is down. I would thought of it is good. Okay. Now there is no SQL mediator to connect this one. So part of this database connectivity, we just require the management studio tools. Let's click on this one. Okay, so always the latest management studio we can install it. At this moment 19.1 is the management studio latest one. It is got recently. Just we download it. Okay, and it will go into install the management studio to connect this SQL application. Okay, so let's go and verify it. Okay, I cannot see anything. Once after the execution is done, the installation process is going to start and we'll proceed for the rest of the tasks. So please wait for the management studio is going to install and then we'll okay, let's wait. It is taking some pre-checks and all. Once it is done, it is going to pop up to install the management studio. So typically this process, normal DBA guys is going to do. So this installation process, the configuration, most of the time you will get, 1 or 2% of the work. Okay. So if they want to do some migration, they will queue this kind of task. And otherwise you will going to work the, existing servers only.
Okay, sir. Sir, should we install Management Studio on C drive or on any other drive?
Yeah, we can install, any other drive. Okay, so by default, it is going to take, C drive only, but it is a lightweight, right? So not an issue to go and install into the C drive. Okay.
Okay, sir.
But it is going to take bit time comparing to SQL application. Okay, let's see that. So before that, let's have look what are the services got installed is basically. So by default, whatever whenever we're going to take that database engine services, we have the configuration manager, and we do have installation center and all, and the configuration manager is basically, if you can go and click list of the protocols and ports, we can able to verify it. Okay, let me drag this side. We can see this, here is my services, and since we just enabled automatic, okay, it is running once after the installation is done. And also we can see this default logins is there, but if you want to use the like Windows logins also, you can able to utilize. So instead of this one, you can browse here. Okay, so the Windows logins, it is going to navigate here. Okay, so this is a one kind of approach, and I can say SQL admin is my Windows ID. So just click on this checkbox, make this one okay, and provide a password. But real time, this is the process we are going to follow. Not for the default, accounts or the settings. Okay, we will follow this, credential. Why? Because this Windows accounts is basically this accounts is basically managed by the Windows team. It is a securing option. So if you want to change the rest of the services also, you can able to change it. I'll just for the demo purpose, I'll just have this browser services SQL admin, and the rest of the things, NT services, I'll keep it as is. Okay. When you go
So
for
we have
this,
to do all for all these three server services, sir, in case
yes,
of
we can.
production.
Yes, we can. Okay. So normally we'll do for a SQL Server and the SQL Server agent. Okay. Now, these two services will use for the Windows logins. Why? Because it is very secure, right? Comparing to other logins, the service is running, okay, not for the
Hmm.
authentication login. The service running under this account, okay. It does not mean that you have that login ID and the permission to access. Though you don't have, by using of the SQL authentication, you can connect the SQL Server, okay.
Okay, sir.
Now, let's see this, the ports and, client tools and all. Normally, we'll go and we'll see here. There is, protocols, which typically use, TCP and the names pipe, okay, and the shared memory. So name pipe is basically within the server if you want to, you know, earlier days before TCP IP, the named pipe will be available. Okay. So now this got disabled. Why? Because it is an advanced protocol, TCP protocol. So to connect this one, any client system, it should be enabled. Otherwise, you cannot able to connect. Okay. This is make sure this uh, connectivity system. So if you can go and see this, IP address standpoint of we have this, IP address and the port number. The default port number is 1433 and this server IP is 10.0.0.4. Okay, instead of connecting the host name, you can connect the IP address as well. Okay. Okay, good. It is asking to restart. Okay, so I'm not going to restart now. It will take some time. So let's try to expand out. Okay, I can able to see this earlier. I can see this one, but now I could able to see these tools as well, right? So just click on the SQL Server Management Studio and try to connect this with by using of the Windows authentication on the SQL authentication. Any questions with it? Are you with me? Are you following
No,
right?
sir, and I don't have any question.
All right. So by default, it is connecting since SQL admin is there. Okay. We had just added during the installation. So I can able to connect. Okay. So without any interruption. But the thing is that you don't have Windows authentication. Okay. You don't have Windows authentication. Now let's connect with the SQL authentication as well. So during the installation, we just had given some SA account. Okay. Just provide your ID, login ID, and the password. So we can able to connect. This is a one method. But still, these two accounts you don't have. Okay. So you want to connect your own account with the SQL authentication instead of the Windows authentication. Just expand these services, add your account. Let's say I am going to add this new login ID with a different name. Okay. So I don't have Windows user. I want to give the SQL user currently. Okay. Okay, Udit, I'm going to give and the password I'm going to provide here. All right. So just uncheck this one. Okay. At this moment, make user as admin role. Whatever you want, you can give it. Okay? Just for testing, I'm giving admin. Okay. Just keep this one. Uh, Either you want to execute with uh, script or else you can execute here also. Okay. Uh, I can able to view. here. Okay. We can do- I can give this. Okay. Okay. Now this Udit is got created, right? So I want to create one more user. Okay. Test user. So I'll give this test user for this one. Okay. Just execute this one. Both the ways I created. One is for GA method. One is a scripting method. Let's refresh this one. Okay. So you don't have any Windows ID or the SID, but you are trying to connect now by using of your ID. Okay. So do it and the password I'm going to provide. Yes. See, I'm just connected with your ID. Okay. I have whatever I you can connect your test user ID also. So this is the way we can able to connect it. So how we are going to ensuring, let's say I'm just keeping this one Windows authentication. You want to try to connect, you cannot able to connect. Now let's say I'll make this one as a uh, uh, Windows authentication. I'm just disconnected this one. Now try to connect with the SQL authentication. It will throw error. Why? Because it is set as a window. Okay, it is required to restart actually. Let's see this restart. Once this changes has done, we just need to do some restart option so that it will ensuring that connectivity. Okay, I'm closing this one at this moment. Okay, so now it has got green. Let's try to with the user or the test user, whatever. You just have user ID password with you. So now see this, the login failed because of Windows authentication. We set it out. Okay, so you just need to connect with the Windows authentication. Just connect this, again Windows authentication, it will connect. When you try to connect the SQL authentication, it will not connect. So as and when you are going to verify it, your credentials and all, ensuring that are you using the right authentication process and the right user, so that you are ensuring to connectivity process.
Okay, sir.
Okay, so now you cannot able to connect. Once after the changing of the authentication methodology, then only you can able to connect. See, my goal is here, there is a multiple use case in the real time. Before going to deploy, ensuring that the software stack as well as the VM deployment. VM deployment is a straightforward, but when you go for the client requirement, this is the use case. This is the best approach when you're trying to deploy the VM. All right.
Okay, sir.
All right. So, what is the time?
Sir, can we
Okay.
connect tomorrow? As I have a call at
Ah,
10:30.
okay. No, no. Yeah, yeah, you can. That's what I want to stay. We can connect tomorrow. No issue. Okay. Just I'm stopping this recording.